I want us to expand a little bit on the social engineering aspect overall, especially during this unprecedented time. We know that although many users may have known about the scam, some of them say they had in fact shared and had sent the money through. So when it comes to the user, how does the user become protected and ensure that they're not falling vulnerable to such scams?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, here we are talking about Twitter being compromised, and you and I as users of Twitter, for example, we can do a little bit more to protect ourselves. So, for example, two-factor authentication is key in anything. So two-factor authentication is when you verify yourself, and the second tier, in other words, your account will ask for another security measure, another security layer, either it be an SMS or an authenticator, for example, that gives a unique password to protect you from entering. But, I think that this goes even further in the corporate world because, Twitter now during lockdown, and in fact, Twitter is one of those companies that have told their staff that we might never go back to work. So now you have thousands of Twitter employees working remotely, and those systems are themselves vulnerable and can be accessed by staff members externally. So that automatically is compromising their security standards. And this is the big challenge that big corporates have in today's world, with COVID upon us. And you have millions of people working on computers, company computers all over the place. That itself is a security vulnerability for hackers to access different organizations. And organizations are going to have to rethink their security measures, who has access to their computers, and what information certain staff members can access. And I think that ultimately is what's going to really help slow down this incredible rate of security lapses that we are seeing happening globally at the moment.
And before we let you go, Aki, what are some of the most powerful lessons to learn from this being shown all over and really exposing Twitter and exposing the cyberspace?
Yeah, it's very dangerous, and I think that we all need to be super vigilant about, how we do things online, what kind of security precautions we're taking. Unfortunately, in a situation like this happened that last night, this was out of the user's hands. These hackers specifically compromised the organization who then accessed the credentials of these specific users. But I think in the world that we're living in today, we just need to be very hyper vigilant about how we access our devices and to make sure that they're ultra secure. Two-factor authentication is just a standard that everybody should be applying to how they secure their particular accounts. And just be vigilant about what activities happen in your accounts. I mean, many of those people hadn't known that this was happening in the background. The good news is that Twitter has acted pretty swiftly, and hopefully we will find out exactly what that vulnerability was so that other social media companies and other organizations prevent this from happening to themselves in future.
Right. Thank you so much for your time there and that very thorough analysis. Tech expert Aki Anastasiou speaking to us there about this Twitter scammers, of course, hitting prominent names and brands like Elon Musk and Barack Obama and Apple, of course, really just ringing the alarm bell on the cyberspace and the manner in which fraudsters are operating during this unprecedented time.